Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Pachehra Talks. And today we are going to learn something very interesting, which is the service architecture. Service architecture of Azure AVD. And you will see something really interesting like components like Azure Front Door and Traffic Manager involved in the entire setup. All right, so service architecture for Azure AVD. That's our topic, and we'll try to understand it with the help of some diagrams, some relevant example, so that it will make more sense to us. So Azure Virtual Desktop is designed to provide a resilient, reliable, and secure service for organizations and their users. We all understand that. And this is a PaaS service where a lot of things are managed by Microsoft. Let's quickly write that down. This is the control plane. We have done that many times, but for this particular video, I have to write this down again so that we all are on the same page. So there is a web service, there is a broker service. We all know what broker does all the time. And I would like to put there is one more gateway service that we covered in the traffic flow, right? Gateway service. Then there is a resource directory, and then there is a database, or you could say geographical database. Now, geographical because it's a global service. That means your user is trying to access from any of the region. It will land it to the low latency nearest session host that is supposed to be, right? So these are some uh, VDI components that are managed by Microsoft at a global level. For just for the understanding, so that we all are on the same page, web services is something which provides the user-facing website and endpoint. For example, when we try to find the feed, all that information that we have access to is taken care by web service. Web service will send all that information to our client or web. Broker service is for the orchestration of incoming connections. We have already seen that in the traffic flow. Same goes with the gateway. It receives the RDP request from user device and help them to connect it. And this resource directory is something interesting because it provides information to instruct the web service which of the multiple geographical database hosts the connection information required for each user. Why? Because it's a global service. People can access from anywhere in the world. And this geographical database contains the connection files and icons for every resource that a user has been provisioned. A very simple, brief overview. But stay with me, it will going to get more interesting as we go ahead. For example, these are our session host. Okay. Now the service architecture will start making more sense to you. And let me write it down as session hosts. Okay. It could be VM1 or session host 1. This is VM2 and this is VM3. And person who's trying to access is sitting right here. Okay, somewhere. It could be, let's try to make it interesting because we focused on the global service. So it is sitting some outside on the internet. All right, and this is our client and who is trying to access the session host. Now, what happens? The interesting thing is, very first time when this guy tried to access, we call it user connections. User connection. Okay. And user connections are of two types. The very first is the connection for the feed discovery. So feed discovery, which will let you know what all access you have for the AVD. You could have remote apps, you could have desktop or things like that. And the second connection will be for the RDP, so that you can access your session host. So these are two types of connection. And this goes in this manner. First feed discovery and then the RDP. So let's go and try to make sense with the feed discovery. When client during feed discovery, the desktop and the applications available to the users are populated in your device, in your client. And how it actually happens, let's check that out. This user is located anywhere in the world. Okay, let me write it down so that anywhere in world, because we are trying to understand the entire service connection of the AVD, which is a global service, things which are managed by the Microsoft. Though we definitely put the VMs in our region, but we can have multiple region host in a host pool too. All right. So let's get back to the topic. So what happened? This user is located anywhere in the world, and it tried to access the feed. The first time it tried to access and get the information, this request will go through something interesting. You'll find that we have never discussed through Azure Traffic Manager. Okay. Yes, Traffic Manager is involved, and I have mentioned global many times so that you can easily relate. What the Traffic Manager will do, request will go to the Traffic Manager first, so that Traffic Manager route the user device to the closest instance of the Azure Virtual Desktop web service based on the geographic traffic routing method. It has multiple way of routing the traffic. In AVD, we are using geo traffic routing method. So what it will do, it will direct the user, it will direct the user to the closest instance of AVD web service, okay, which uses source IP. See where this guy is located in the world. As per the source IP, Traffic Manager will divert to the closest instance of the AVD for the feed discovery. Okay, right. Now what happens? The web service, because the closest instance of AVD, which means web service. Okay, so what will happen? This guy right here is we will talk to the okay. This guy now talk to the web service, because now it has the information of closest instance of web service AVD. Okay, it can go and talk to the AVD. Now web service of AVD. Now what will web service will do? It will definitely will ask broker service, because that's what it does. The next part, broker service in the same Azure region to retrieve the RDP files and application icons for the user feed. And if you remember, uh, okay, let me choose the right one. Okay. Okay. No, 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 no. Okay. If you remember, this this has the that information, the RDP file and the connection file. So, and this resource directory will help it. So this broker service will go and talk to these folks, this, and get the information and provide it to the web service, right? And then this information which web service has will be sent to the user. So the broker service returns the RDP files and application icons to the web service, which returns the information to the user device, right? So this green showing the first part of this, the feed discovery, how exactly it is happening. Now this client has the information of what all access he has. It could be those RDP file or connection, whatever it has, and it this guy tries to access this RDP. Now the second connection starts. The first connection is all done, right? The first connection is all done. Now this guy has all the information of application icon or RDP files that he has access to. Now what will happen? This guy will definitely go ahead and try to access the session host now. And this time when this guy try to access the session host, this is the next request goes, and this will go to something really interesting that we have not discussed too. We'll go to front door this time. Okay, front door. Why front door? Because it provides the global entry point. It has all the features that front door provides. That's the front door's features. It will give the nearest global entry point to talk to the Azure Service AVD, to reach to the AVD. And Azure Front Door determines the AVD gateway service with the lowest latency for the user's device and directs the connection to it. Entry point and low latency destination or gateway service. That is the destination for now. And gateway service, we will again talk to the broker that we discussed earlier. Right now, this front door will let this provide the entry point, and it will talk to the web service. Sorry, gateway service. Okay, we have discussed the flow afterwards in previous videos, but for the sake of this discussion, service architecture, now front door has provided the information of low latency nearest gateway for the user device, and the gateway service connects to the broker service, right? This gateway will talk to the broker service, because broker does all those things, orchestrate the connection. That's what the broker does. And broker service takes over and orchestrates the connection between the user device and session host, because the broker service instructs the Azure Virtual Desktop agent running on the session host to connect to the same gateway service the user device has connected through. Because when these VM comes online, they they have this agent, bootloader agent, and it has a connectivity, persistent connectivity with the broker service. Through that connectivity, it will ask their agent, their session host, to talk to the gateway service and help to establish the connection. And at this point, one of the two connection type is made depending on the configuration and available network protocol. What are the two connection I am referring here? Well, you remember in the previous video we talked about reverse connect, which is always the first, and the RDP short path. One of these connection will be activated for the user to access their session host as per the configuration that we have already discussed. What is reverse connect? We already talked about it. And because this is reverse talking to us, and RDP short path, the session was directly talking to the client. We choose it usually for the managed networks. Right. So yeah, this is all the service architecture for Azure AVD. And this information that I gave you a couple of times, global service. I have this information from Microsoft documentation. I'll share that link in the description box so that you can read about it. All right. So, well, thank you for watching, and you guys have a wonderful day.